With PlayStation 5 on the verge of release in a few months, I wanted to take the time to play some games that I never completed, or that I played so long ago that I actually don't remember the story. The Order 1886 was one of those games, amongst many, actually. There was a rumor that a sequel was in the works by a writer over at Sucker Punch, however that statement was quickly retracted, claiming that he was misinformed by his team. This game, hands down, was one of the best looking games of 2015, which ironically enough, ends up looking better than some of the games that came out this year. Aside from the looks, there were a bunch of quality of life things that were not implemented into this game. First thing being, no cutscene skips, which didn't bother me at first on my first playthrough because I was just enjoying the story and the amount of work that went into the cutscenes, but this made getting the platinum really annoying. Because the game had such long cutscenes, you actually had to sit through them if you needed to grind a chapter for kills or if you ended up missing a collectible somewhere. Speaking of collectibles, there wasn't a menu to inform you what collectibles you needed from each chapter, so when going for the platinum, I had to replay the entire game from chapter 1 just to make sure that I had picked up every note and every object along the way. Come to find out, I was only missing one note on the final stage. Granted, I needed to grind kills anyway on specific chapters, but I could have spent less time running through the game shooting enemies who lack any concept of intelligence. The AI in this game. The AI. It made me feel like I was playing against a bunch of toddlers, drooling on the controller and slapping buttons at random. The only time I died in this game was during the sneaking portions, where you could be one shot for being spotted. Admittedly enough, stealth is one of my lesser skills. I'd rather unga bunga and blow things up instead of taking a silent approach. Which is why my face was met with a bullet every single time I managed to somehow make a mistake in one of those sections. I touched upon it earlier, but the story is very good. I wouldn't say it was revolutionary, but it felt good to see the events unfold as you made progress. I loved the character designs. Lakshmi is bae, but something about playing as Galahad felt refreshing, I guess that's the best way to put it. Galahad was a veteran knight within the Order who knew a thing or two about clapping cheeks of the enemy, and well, even his fellow knight Izzy from time to time. The story flirts with romance, but at no point does it actually ever become a full-on romance. Galahad the Sly Dog has the interest of Isabeau, better known as Izzy, who later in the game becomes a straight-up bloodhound when she finds out that Galahad is running around with Lakshmi, the leader of the resistance, trying to figure out what's going on with the Order that he serves. I love how the story is presented and everything that happens from start to finish, so I'm going to give this game 2 separate scores. For my personal review, I give this game an 8 out of 10, which sounds kind of generous considering how much I just shredded the game, but hear me out. My first playthrough is always the playthrough I base my personal feelings on. The story was amazing and engaging, the graphical presentation was top notch for its time, the relationship between characters felt real and believable. You felt as if these characters had a past with each other before we jumped into the spectator seat. The voice acting is extremely good. The reason being, all of the actors are either from a movie or TV show. For example, Frederick Hamill, the voice of Marquis, he acted in and produced Bridesmaids from 2011. Another actor, Yuri Lowenthal, voiced Ben 10 from Cartoon Network and Peter Parker from the most recent Spider-Man game by Insomniac. When looking at the background of each cast member, they all had an extensive background in acting, mostly in European media, which is why I don't know much about, the shows that they were on, but still, this cast was extremely stacked with talented actors. Now, why isn't my personal score a 10 out of 10? There were a few sections of the game, mostly towards the end, where I was forced to fight for about 10 minutes straight. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it kind of felt that way, And considering the enemies in this game run headlong into headshots, it did not feel good to play a few stages before the last one. At this point, I just wanted to see the story unfold more than actually play. The gameplay loop got very repetitive, which kind of dulled the end of the game for me in terms of just how it plays. For my critical review, I'm giving this game a 6 out of 10. The game at first was really fun to play and a joy to look at, but as time went on, it felt like, when is this battle gonna end? Or where are you people even coming from? As I've stated many times in this review, I loved the story, but the quality of life stuff really dampened the score for me. Having chapters selected was nice, but if you're gonna have collectibles, then you really need some kind of menu that lets you see what you need from each chapter. And it's not like this wasn't implemented in other games before it, so I'm not really sure why the devs dropped the ball on something so basic. The cover-to-cover system got me injured more than actually saving my life. There were a few times when I would find one piece of cover and just stick to it. They tried to have grenadiers throw things from time to time to force you out, but the black sight system literally lets you shoot grenades out of the air, so problem solved. Speaking of black sight, this function barely works as intended. When using black sight, I actually couldn't change targets very easily, making it kind of useless to me in situations that it would have actually been good in. All in all, I enjoyed the game. If you never played The Order 1886, then I suggest you play it, because it is quite the experience. It's easy on time consumption, because I beat the game in just about 5 hours on stream, and for my platinum chasers out there, you can plat the game in one single playthrough. The only reason I had to go back through was because I missed one collectible, and I didn't use as many of the special guns littered about, so if you do decide to go for an easy platinum, just make sure you pick up every single gun, kill a few enemies with them, swap, and also make sure you inspect all those documents, or else you're going to be skipping through chapters like I had to, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyway, that's going to be all from me, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to let me know that you want more content like this. Peace out, ladies and gents. Until next time.